And a person who don't know what they're doing can destroy the lock shaft. Hey y'all, it's Tania at Christ and Locs. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Actually part, so I'm gonna take this seatbelt off. My husband just ran in the store and I just wanted to do a quick video in response to a comment that one of my lovely subscribers left when I did my very first live, y'all. A few weeks ago I did my very first live and I was so nervous. I like hopped up there and hopped back off. But I'm gonna do a real live in the future. It's just I had to get those jitters out. But at any rate, so I want to give my insight on combining locks. When it comes down to combining locks, I've actually done a couple of videos. Yeah, I've done 2 videos. I'll link them below, where I was showing you how I've combined my locks with a crochet needle, and then also talking about how I've combined my locks with rubber bands. Now, back in the day when I first started, which was probably within the first 6 months of me starting my locks, I 2-strand twisted a lot of the locks in the back together, and I secured them at the bottom with a black little tiny rubber band. That's how I started off combining my locks. I started off with 150 starter locks, and now as a person with 7.5-year-old locks, I have 112, 114, something like that. So I started off with a very simple method of 2-strand twist. Now, as my locks got older and I became more accustomed to using a crochet needle, even the 2-strand twist combined locks that were not marrying like I wanted them to, I will use a crochet needle to make them more seamless. I will say this, you have to make sure that the lock parting for both of those locks is big enough to support the weight of the 2 locks that you are combining together, not just at that time, but as the locks get longer and as they solidify. Because if not, you might be trying to save one of the locks from completely breaking off, but you can cause damage to 2 locks instead of 1. So make sure that the lock parting for both of the locks that you're combining together can support the weight of both of those locks. Another thing is, whenever you are combining locks, you have to be more intentional when you are taking care of those combined locks. Because say for example, I wanted to leave these chunky braids in, like it would take years down the line because my locks are very mature, but it would eventually become very thick, chunky locks. So you see all these little crevices from the braids, like, because there's so many little areas and nooks for build up to reside in your hair. So whenever you are combining your locks and you are trying to maintain your locks, you have to be that much more intentional with making sure there's no shampoo residue or conditioner residue, or else you can really create a safe haven for buildup. Another thing I would say to be conscious of is, if you are going to use a crochet needle, please, 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 please be very conscious of how you are utilizing that needle, because you can cause more damage if you're not conscious of how you are marrying the locks. So what I've noticed is that people who incorrectly use a crochet needle, they're stabbing the shaft of their lock, which can create a hole. I would strongly suggest going to a professional if you are not sure how to use the crochet needle. If you are one of those people like myself who do not want to go to a professional, look at a lot of videos before you start taking a crochet needle to your hair. There are single prong, double prong, I've even seen triple prong crochet needles, and a person who don't know what they're doing can destroy the lock shaft. I'm just being honest. Another thing is, what's another thing I want to talk about? There are different ways of combining your locks. You can just leave them alone. Like some people just kind of just leave them alone, leave their roots alone, and as the hair grows, the roots will just grow into each other, and as it grows out, it'll become one lock. But the only thing with that is that it has a whole bunch of little, what we call heads at the end of the lock. So it's that way. There's a 2-strand twist way, which is one way that I've done at the beginning of my lock journey. You can braid them and leave them alone, or you can just crochet them together. I think the easiest way for somebody who is brand new to the lock lock gang is to just 2-strand twist them and secure them with the rubber band. The only thing with that is you got to make sure that you're not tying the rubber band too tight, because that can cause dents in the locks. So it's just a lot of caveats to combining your locks, and you can cause more damage if you are not careful. So I think when it comes down to it is understanding that and just doing your due diligence to do what's best for your lifestyle. If you're a person who just wants it one and done, I don't want to be bothered with this, I don't want to have to worry about upkeeping the combined lock, crochet is what I would suggest. If you're a person who's worried about damaging your lock, go to a professional. If you're a person who has a little bit more patience, you can choose the 2-strand twist way. The only thing with that is that sometimes, well, at least in my experience, when I did the 2-strand twist method, I noticed that the twist would get loose and I'd have to continuously, in the parts that were not yet marrying, twist them together. But over the year or two that it took for them to combine, they actually seamlessly came together. Or you can just do what I'm not doing this, but you could just put them in chunky braids like this and leave them. The only downside with that is it's going to take a very long time for them to come together. And then you see all of these little, the different little crevices. It's going to take a long time for the demarcation line in the braids, the braid lock, to disappear as well. So that was just what I've gone through when it comes down to combining locks. I have nothing really negative to say about my lock combining experience. Just know what you're doing, because if not, you can really mess your locks up. And that's it. If you have any questions, that's my little spiel. I will be making more lock content in the future. I would show y'all what my hair looks like without this hat, y'all, but my edges right now, I gotta do something with them. My edges is just like, they're not cute right now. Okay, so I'm gonna do a lock braid takedown, and I might just do like, I don't know, a little chat or something to show y'all how I take my braids down, and then yeah, go from there. So until the next video, God bless. Leave any lock topics you want in a comment section below, and bye bye.